What is up, guys? In today's video, we're talking about a massive weather pattern change and a huge cool down that is expected across the US. Let's get right into today's video. Hurricane Melissa was a devastating hurricane that impacted parts of Jamaica, Cuba, and the Bahamas as one of the strongest hurricanes to ever make landfall in Atlantic history, tied as the strongest hurricane to ever make landfall in history. But for now, there's no other tropical cyclone activity expected in the next 7 days, meaning mostly the tropics are done for the rest of the year, as it's already November and the tropics are starting to quiet down, so that is good news. For the temperatures across the U.S., today and tomorrow we are going to see some potential frost and even freeze impact portions of the deep south and central parts of the U.S., including Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. So if you are in those areas, be careful and be prepared, as your vegetation and crops could potentially be impacted by this, as we are going to be seeing our first frost/freeze of the year. And this will definitely continue for a lot, as we're going to be seeing some pretty cold temperatures over the next few days or so for the lows. But it's definitely going to heat up a lot across the U.S. We're going to be seeing more of that early fall, the almost summer-like temperatures to start up on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday across the central and southern U.S. Once again, going through Thursday and even Friday, where we're going to be seeing 60 and 70-degree temperatures across the central, eastern, and western part of the U.S. In the north, it's still going to be pretty cold, but then it's going to change big time. We're going to see some huge changes. Once we get to around Friday to Saturday, we're going to see a huge cold blast come in, and we could be seeing temperatures dipping into really frigid temperatures, and it's going to start feeling like winter here. This is already the first sign of this about a week from now on Sunday, hitting that it could be really cold across portions of the central and northern U.S., where we could be seeing our first dip into potentially lows getting into the 20s across these areas on a Sunday and Monday. So definitely our first little change into wintry weather that we are going to be seeing. I mean, it's November now, so it's going to start getting a lot colder, and it's definitely shown that it could get really cold here on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday with some much below average temperatures. Then it may warm up once again once we get into next week, but we won't see much details for that because it's still pretty far out. But overall, the weather patterns can be a lot of flipping from warm to cold, back to warm to cold again. So you might be going from a t-shirt to a sweatshirt back to a t-shirt over and over again. Overall, the weather across the U.S. in terms of storm system is going to be really inactive across the next few days, with barely any storm systems impacting any parts of the U.S., with barely any rainfall across the U.S. The only exception is over in the western U.S., where we could see a few atmospheric rivers heading into portions of Northern California, Oregon, and Washington regions, where we could be seeing some heavy rainfall amounts that are going to come through here. The first one being on Monday, where we could get some isolated rainfall. This won't lead to too much flash flooding, as it's going to be pretty minimal in terms of rainfall. But then another little bit of a bigger storm system could come through here on Tuesday through Wednesday and dump a little bit of more rainfall there Tuesday, Wednesday through Thursday, and maybe even another one on Friday that could lead to some hefty rainfall amounts across portions of Northern California, in the coast of Northern California, the coast of Oregon, and the coast of Washington, where we could be seeing upwards of 4 to 5 inches of rain in some spots, 1 to 2 to 3, maybe even 4 inches of rain in some spots that could lead to some beneficial and pretty hefty rainfall amounts across this region. We could see a major pattern change start to take shape after we do get those cold blasts that are going to start to head towards parts of the U.S. across mostly a week from now, where we could start to see those storm systems start to form. It's going to be pretty inactive from here all the way through Saturday, but things may change as we could start seeing a few storm systems roll through. The first one maybe being on Friday, that could lead to some parts of rainfall across a lot of the central and southern U.S., and maybe even a little bit of snow across northern Maine that could start to push in here, and definitely a lot of snow there in Canada. And then we could be seeing more and more snow systems. This model is showing that we could be potentially, with that cold blast that comes through on Sunday, that we could see some snow in portions of Missouri and Illinois. But even though that does show, I mean, that would be amazing, the first snow of the season in early November, that's not looking too likely right now. It is still way far out, and we will get more details on that in the future. But this is the only model showing that we'll get snow in Missouri, so it's probably not going to happen right now, but we'll definitely be paying attention to that a little more. But all this is showing is that we could definitely be seeing some more storm systems roll through the U.S. as these cold blasts are going to be rolling through. That could lead to more storm systems and maybe even some snowfall opportunities across portions of these regions, with another storm system coming through on November 16th, but that is still way too far out now for those regions. But these storm systems that will move across the U.S. will also lead to some potential big-time snowstorms across the Colorado Rocky Mountains. That could lead to a lot of snowstorms, and maybe get those ski resorts to start opening a little bit earlier across those regions, which could definitely start here about a week to 2 weeks from now. Overall, the weather has been pretty inactive across portions of the U.S., and we're going to be seeing a big flip between cold and warm temperatures. But in the next week or so, we could see a big pattern flip start to occur, where we could be seeing some more cold blasts start to roll through, and maybe even more storm systems that could lead to more uneventful weather across portions of the U.S. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and bye, everybody.